Nobody, not even a conductor, would have the sheer ego to attempt a complete history of 20th century music. And indeed, this series has never aimed at being an objective or comprehensive view of it. It's been more like a selection of taster portions in some fabulous restaurant. We hope it'll whet your appetite for more. In this, the final programme of the series, we'll attempt to pull through some of the threads of our century-long journey. Stravinsky and Shostakovich, Schoenberg, Webern, Boulez, Stockhausen. These names all echo down the century, leaving a powerful legacy that has shaped and inspired so much recent music. Some composers have taken from them what they've needed to move forward, like Stravinsky did with Rimsky-Korsakov. Other composers have chosen to reaffirm the lasting power of tradition. In the happy absence of schools or dogmas, a myriad of different styles and colours have emerged, like a rainbow after a storm. Given the vast choice of new music available, I've decided to concentrate on three areas that are symbolic of these developments. Luciano Berio is one of the key figures of our time. He's a mass of contradictions built up of many different currents of thoughts. His artistic personality exists at that point where intellect crosses fantasy. This, coupled with his interest in montage, gives you the feeling that he likes playing games with his audience, forcing us to make connections between all kinds of disparate elements. It was hard to choose any one piece, but in Alighting on Labyrinthus 2, typically there isn't a Labyrinthus 1, we find ourselves immersed in the hallucinatory world that he's made his own. A collage of electronic music, theatre, jazz, serialism, and also the political idealism so characteristic of the 60s. It's a wild and wonderful mélange. It was a very romantic notion. The idea of not getting your hands dirty with the past or with other dimensions of music may have been heroic, but in Italy we had a tradition, the operatic tradition, that was very difficult to escape from. There is in Berio's work an intense longing to make connections between the past and present. This seems to me one of the only unifying strands in the music being written right now. Dante's reflection on the meaning of music and the dreamlike fragments of 16th century madrigals, combined with quotations from James Joyce and Ezra Pound, float over distant echoes of some unnameable catastrophe. Fragments of a vision that tell us, like Beckett, that the moment you first perceive the world as a child and the moment you die is one and the same. In all our journeys, perhaps the only thing left is memory and listening.
La musica è tutta relativa, come si vede nelle parole armonizzate e nei canti. Tanto più dolce armonia risulta, quanto più la relazione è bella, perché massimamente in essa si intende. La musica trae a sé gli spiriti umani che quasi sono principalmente vapori del cuore, sì che quasi cessano da ogni operazione. Sì è l'anima intera quando lode, e la virtù di tutti quasi corre allo spirito sensibile che riceve lo suono. seguimi oramai. Che ci sta alle spalle.
E il sole.
E il sole in mezzo agli alberi.
E i bambini che dormono.
E il sole in mezzo agli alberi.
E i bambini che dormono.
E il sole in mezzo agli alberi.
Classical form in music is like the architectural technique that built great cathedrals. It stays there, indifferent to history, wrote Berio. And as we approach the end of our century, much of it seems to be wanting to turn full circle towards warmth, romanticism, and yes, even sentiment. Hans Werner Henze, like Berio, is a man of many different aspects. His leaving home took many forms. As a communist and a homosexual, his exile to Italy from Germany in the 1950s was not merely a matter of preference. But maybe Italy was a conscious choice for him. At the very core of his being, he's emotional, a romantic, and he was never going to be at home in the aesthetic universe of a Boulez or a Stockhausen.
When I crossed the Alps in early 1953, in my car, which was loaded with a couple of suitcases, some music paper, and a few classical scores, I felt a bit like someone who had been rescued from a disaster.